What's up everybody, welcome back to Pens and Tea. My name is Carrie and today we're going to be talking about Jade Citrus Mint Green Tea and the Opus 88 Picnic Fountain Pen. This tea, I believe I actually have reviewed a very long time ago, like well over, 70 videos ago, probably like back when I first started. But I know I did the loose leaf version, not the pre-bagged version. So this, to be honest, is a waste of packaging. I really wish the box was different because the box is massive. It's like the size of my head, basically. And it's over half empty. I've had 2 bags out of this. Waste of packaging. But rant over. This is what essentially it ends up looking like. Cool thing, it says Jade Citrus Mint flavored green tea blend, organic green tea, lemon verbena, lemongrass, and a hint of spearmint. I really like this tea. I really do. So this used to be from a company called Teopia. Teopia then got bought out by a company called Teavana. Then Teavana got bought out by Starbucks. And when that happened, Starbucks closed all of Teavana's locations, and I'm pretty sure even their website might still be active in the States, but I'm not too sure. But in Canada, they shut it down. So thanks, Starbucks. But you can still buy this particular one in the pre-packaging only. You cannot buy loose leaf in Canada anyways, in the local Starbucks stores. They have, however, upped the price, so this is pretty expensive now. It works out to, I think, just under $1 per tea. How many do you get in here? You get 12. And I think this is about 14 bucks, so maybe just over $1. It was a while ago that I bought this. But while I don't like the fact that it's much more expensive, I'm still gonna buy it every once in a while because I really love this tea. It's a very mild tea. The spearmint isn't super overpowering, so I appreciate that. I do have peppermint tea that I really like when I want like a lot of mint flavor, but this is a bit more mild. It's definitely spearmint. You will taste that. You do get the little bit of lemon, but it's just kind of like a calming green tea. I don't put any milk in it because no. I have had it with sugar, I've had it without sugar. I like it both ways. Just depends on what I feel like that day. But I really like it. So I would 100%, if you can get your hands on this, recommend it for sure. Like I said, it's a little bit on the pricier side, but it's a nice treat here and there. And as a random fact, it has my initials on it, just for fun. So that is the tea. And the pen for today is this guy. So this is the Opus 88 Picnic Fountain Pen. So it's a traditional cigar-shaped pen, which if you watch my videos, you know that as I've gone farther into the fountain pen world, I'm actually getting away from the traditional cigar-shaped pen. My favorite right now is flat top. So specifically, my favorite is the Aurora Optima style. But Opus 88 does have like a demonstrator version that has the flat top. So I think I might look into that one. But this, I actually quite like the color of. I am partial to browns, which I know a lot of people aren't, but there are a couple other colors that you can choose from. And they are more translucent than this one. The other two, I believe it's a green and a blue, are much more translucent than this one. In person, it's a little bit more than what the camera can pick up, but the other two are pretty much the whole way translucent with like a little bit of color. So what are we looking at? So we've got a brown kind of just knob as a finial that has a silver clip that works pretty well. It works just the way you'd want a clip to. That comes down to the logo that says Opus 88. It is just like printed on top of the pen. It's not like engraved or anything. So over time, depending on how hard you use the pen, it might chip away. But to my eye, it is beautifully printed on there. Like it's nice and crisp, and I like that. As you come down farther, it tapers a little bit to another silver ring, and the just again like the top darker brown finial end cap. but it's not actually completely an end cap, because this pen is an eyedropper pen. But the fun thing about it is that it actually has a rod on the inside that you pull down, just like you would on a vacuum filling pen. And then what it does, if I can uncap it, obviously it's a screw cap. When you uncap it, you can remove the section just like you would on a like standard international, you know, cartridge converter pen. You'd remove this part here, which I'm going to do very carefully because I have this currently inked up. Ooh, that is nerve-wracking. So you remove that. I don't know if you can see it, but right here, there's a very large black rubber gasket, and that will meet up with the inside of the pen here. There you go, which is where you can fill it. It does come with a little eyedropper, but honestly, an ink syringe is going to be a lot better because you're only going to be able to suck up like 0.5 milliliter in the little plastic eyedropper they give you, like a little syringe type thing. And so it takes forever. And then you just literally drop it in, and then you close the little kind of knob here, the little piston. And what that does, I don't know if you can see it, I don't want to tip it too far. See how there's that knob there? And then if I pull it, see kind of a little bit what's going up and down. So what that'll do is it blocks off the ink from being able to get into the nib and feed. So much like a vacuum filling pen, this pen is great for travel because you can block off the ink from getting to the rest of the pen. And because it's not a vacuum filler, you can maneuver this rod up and down when, see there, you can see it there. When the pen is inked up, as you can see from here to here is ink, and it's perfect. If you have the nib pointed down, obviously you will get some ink come out, but just don't do that. And that would be how you fill this pen. And now, because I have it screwed all the way tight, there's no ink that's going to be able to get from the body to the nib and the feed other than what's already in the nib and feed. So it makes it really great for travel. Since I have it undone here, it sits quite nicely in my hand. Quite nicely, actually. It's a very light pen. It's all resin. The kind of grip section here does filter out a little bit, flares out just a teeny bit, but it's a pretty big grip section, which is nice because even though the threads are very smooth and you don't really feel them, there is a noticeable step up. Now you do feel it if you're going to have your thumb here, but the grip section is so large that I don't imagine most people would have their thumb over that ridge here. When I bought this pen, I was not expecting the small nib. I thought, and this is just me, buyer beware, I thought this came with a number 6 size nib. It does not. It comes with a number 5 size nib. So it is much smaller. As you can see, like here's my thumb. It's much, much smaller than a number 6 size. So if I pull an Edison, for example, this is the number 6 versus a number 5. So it is much smaller. I personally would get the number 6, but as you will see later in the writing sample, it writes like a dream. So it's just purely aesthetic, the reason why I prefer a number 6 over a number 5. This pen does post, and it posts quite nicely, and it makes it pretty long, and it's not back weighted at all, even though it makes it quite long. Because everything is completely resin, there's no real added weight. Like when you have the lid off, it's basically no weight whatsoever. So I really like this pen. I had to sort of adjust my own expectations when I saw the size of the nib, but once again, that was my own fault. So as long as you're aware that the nib is a little bit smaller, I would 100% go for it. Off the top of my head, I can't quite remember what the price was, so I'm gonna put it at the bottom here, but I think was around the 100, maybe a little bit less mark in US dollars. And I would say that that's not bad because I haven't seen an eyedropper that has that plunger mechanism to block off the nib and the feed, which I know some people are gonna like, some people are gonna hate, because the same thing with a vacuum fill, but I personally like it. I don't have a problem unscrewing it either. So I really like it once I got over my own issue with the number 5 nib. But let me flip the camera around. I'm gonna show you how this writes and then we'll wrap up. Okie doke, the quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog. Once again, the ink for today is Colorverse Jupiter Flyby. I have a broad Opus 88 steel nib, which is very, very smooth. I don't typically get broads, but I decided, you know what? Let's try it. I was watching the Goulet Q&A, or not Q&A, the Right On, where Rachel kept talking about broad nibs and how that's all she likes to use and all that kind of stuff. And I was like, I don't really like broads, but when I was getting this one, I thought, let's give it a go. And man, I'm glad I did. This is so smooth. Holy. It is a little bit bigger than I typically write. Like, I usually write a lot smaller than this, but you know, so maybe a medium really should be where I go. But that said, this is so smooth. It's nice and juicy, just the way that I like it. And you can always prime it by using the kind of like filler in here. Like if you unscrew this, which if you're going to do long writing sessions, make sure, just like on a VAC 700, you know, TWSBI kind of thing, or any vacuum filling pen, you unscrew this a little bit so that you kind of let the ink flow, but just quick writing, you don't have to worry about it. But you can, because it isn't a vacuum filler, there isn't pressure in here, so you can always pull the piston knob all the way up, even though there's lots of ink in here. And as long as you have the nib pointed up when you push the plunger back in, because again, there's no pressure, it's not going to cause all the ink to come out when you put the nib back in, or the plunger back in. So you can always prime the feed a little bit that way as well, to make it even more wet. But honestly, like, this pen is so smooth. You don't really get any line variation from it, but I mean, it's already a broad nib, so you're not really going to be getting much. And it's pretty stiff, again, because it is steel, but again, it's so smooth, so who really cares? Reverse writing. It does, as you can probably tell, though, it's kind of scratchy, so it's not really the most pleasant, but in a pinch, you definitely can, and that is just going to help because it's so wet. This, honestly, behaves really well. I have left this uncapped for quite some time, and it always, like, starts up really well. Never had any issues with hard starts, skipping. It definitely keeps up with no matter how fast you write. So I'm really quite pleased. Yeah, I'm really pleased. While I'm not a huge fan of like the cigar shaped pens, I think I'm gonna keep this one in my collection for quite some time because it is such a great writer. And now I'm really interested to try out the other Opus 88 pens, especially with the number 6 size nib to upsize from the number 5. So do I recommend this? 100% yes, I do. Guys, thank you for watching. Thanks for sticking with me. And as always, new videos coming soon. Hit that comment section, hit that subscribe button. And if you really want, you can even hit that bell notification. But guys, I'll see you next time. Bye.